Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. I have taken some of the spiritual ideas and trying to explain the significance of Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. Before I go to read the Gospel, I will dwell upon a new subject which I have chosen, and that is Sri Ramakrishna, the soul of the Upanishads. And it is very significant in modern times. All that rigid rules of casteism and all those restrictions can no more be followed nowadays. In a way, people are coming closer and trying to understand with open-mindedness the value of religion. So in this context, it is very appropriate, Sri Ramakrishna, how he has come at the crucial time to show an ideal to all the people in the world. And Sri Ramakrishna himself lived the life, passed through disciplines and realized the truth. So whatever his teachings are given to us, they are supported by his experience. So there is difference between what people simply talk without experience and those who preach with realization. So here is Sri Ramakrishna himself went through all disciplines and realized the truth in his very life, and then he began to share those ideas of realization with all the spiritual seekers of the world. So, Sri Ramakrishna, in his short span of 50 years, relived the religious life of all humanity, particularly that of the Hindu people. Vedanta philosophy, based on the spiritual truths embodied in the Upanishads, not only forms the basis of Hinduism with its numerous sects and denominations, but also contains the core principles of all other religions. Through his unparalleled spiritual struggles and realizations, Sri Ramakrishna became a living representation of the spirit of the Upanishads. Not that he had studied these texts or was instructed in them with their various Sanskrit commentaries in the traditional way. He had little to do with book learning and panditry, just as the seers and sages of the Upanishads had realized those spiritual principles and truths. Sri Ramakrishna experienced them within himself through his self-discipline, concentration, purity, and the resulting super-consciousness. Vedantic scholars who listened to his enlightening talks or merely came into his presence marveled at his spiritual insights and wisdom. His own youthful disciples, some of whom had deep acquaintance with the Upanishads and their commentaries, equally marveled at the Vedantic wisdom of their great master. Swami Vivekananda, the chief among the disciples and easily the most learned of them all, in the philosophies of East and West, found in Sri Ramakrishna the soul of the Upanishads, the key to the understanding of the harmony underlying the apparently divergent teachings thereof. Swamiji says in Complete Works, I, through the grace of God, had the great good fortune to sit at the feet of one whose life was such an interpretation, whose life 1,000-fold more than whose teaching was a living commentary on the texts of the Upanishads, was in fact the spirit of the Upanishads living in a human form. Another great disciple, Swami Chidananda, he was from his early boyhood given to an orthodox life of discipline and study of the Gita, Upanishads and the works of Shankaracharya. He loved this life so much, that is the orthodox way of Vedantic approach. He even began to think that visits to Sri Ramakrishna were a distraction. He began to think to that extent. Sri Ramakrishna came to know of this, and at the next opportunity revealed thus to Swami Chidananda the true spirit of Vedanta. When Chidananda came to meet him one day, Swami Sri Ramakrishna said to him, well, I hear you are now given much to the discussion of the Vedanta. That's what the orthodox Vedantic practitioners do. They keep on discussing and discussing and discussing whole day, every month, every year, throughout life. So, Sri Ramakrishna is pointing out to him, it's all right discussing about Vedanta, that's very good. But does it not amount to this? Brahman is real, the world unreal. Or is it anything else? These simple words, spoken directly from the Master's personal experience of Vedantic truths, took away the breath of Chidananda, who had been laboring under the impression that to understand Vedanta, what to speak of winning liberation, one had to study the difficult Vedantic texts and other related subjects. Now, because of his good fortune of coming in contact with Sri Ramakrishna, he came to know that the essential thing about Vedanta was to get a firm conviction about the reality of Brahman and the impermanence of the phenomenal world, and to make that conviction a fact of experience through meditation. Swami Chidanandaji later said that was a turning point in my life. So, Sri Ramakrishna would thus give a nice direction, turn to the sincere spiritual seekers. As I said, Sri Ramakrishna lived how exactly the followers of Vedanta should. And you know, Vedanta always stresses upon the point that one should use one's faculty of reasoning. It must be very sharp. There is no place for dogmatism, there is no place for superstition, and you must be very open to use your faculty of reasoning, and that's what Vedanta wants, and that is in fact one of the qualifications required. If you don't have rationalistic mind, if you don't have that faculty of reasoning, you can't understand the glory of Vedanta. So, it is very specifically mentioned that discrimination is most important. It is the basis of the life who wants to practice Vedanta. Sri Ramakrishna said in the Gospel, nothing achieved without discrimination and renunciation. Every word is important, and he is telling very clearly, nothing achieved without discrimination and renunciation. Renunciation means the mind is now running totally outwards. Renunciation means turning the mind inward. That's all. Why the mind is not able to turn inward? Because it is very busy engaging itself, involving itself in external things. So, we have allowed the mind to run in that direction for a long time, for millions of years, for many births and births. So, if that mind has to be turned inward, that means going in opposite direction, no more getting interested or involving in the things that distract from God, that take you away from God. No more, enough of all such things. I have had bitter experience. No more of going outside, projecting outside, involving my mind outside in useless and nonsense things. Let me turn back. Let me focus that mind towards inner self. So, turning the mind from outward to inward, that is renunciation. How far you are able to turn yourself towards your true divine nature of the self or Atman, that is called renunciation. That means you are no more aspiring for all sorts of pleasures of this world, which are actually drowning you or making you more miserable. It is like a sugar-coated pill. It looks very pleasurable, but it is not good. Anyway, Sri Ramakrishna said this very clearly, that you have to practice discrimination and you have to practice renunciation. Again, Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, I am taking from Gospel these words, so that whatever explanation I give, they are authenticated by Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. Again, Sri Ramakrishna tells, turning mind within, one acquires discrimination, and through that one thinks of truth. When mind wanders to unreal, Sri Ramakrishna gives instruction, apply discrimination. You have to act. No more dreaming. You have to act positively. With awakening of discrimination, a person wants to know God. Ultimate conclusion of such discrimination is that Brahman alone real and world of names unreal. One can't assimilate spiritual instruction. One can't assimilate spiritual instruction without discrimination. All these are the golden words of Sri Ramakrishna himself, which we can find in the Gospel. So, how it is very important that we should cherish the value of discrimination in our mind. So, there is a particular Sanskrit word which is very difficult to translate, of course. Dhira. It is coming up again and again in the Upanishads. Dhira denotes the man of discrimination, of one-pointed resolution and ultimate wisdom. He is the spiritual pioneer who sets out in search of the treasure of the immortal Atman and successfully completes the search. From first to last, the Dhira is characterized especially by the quality of spiritual discrimination. At the beginning, he discriminates between the pleasant, the ephemeral, and the good, the eternal, and chooses only the good. It is from the Upanishad, this quotation. Seeing impermanence and death all around, he seeks the permanent and the immortal. This is sought within his own self, by the control of the senses, by the purification and concentration of mind. See how many things are there. Simply coming and asking, can I see God? Can you show me God? All those things will not work. You have to be very sincere in your pursuit. Then everything comes up. During this inward search, his power of discrimination becomes even sharper, so that by its strength he is able to separate Atman, the smokeless light, from its coverings of ego, intelligence, thoughts, and body, as a central stalk from a blade of grass. This also, the Upanishad is very clear about this point. When he is able to identify himself with the Atman, he becomes freed from ignorance, bondage, and death. So such dhiras, dhira means persons of discrimination. Such persons, ever devoted to the self, behold everywhere the omnipresent Brahman, and in the end enter into it, which is all this. If one carefully studies the course of Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual search from the beginning to its fulfillment, one cannot fail to note the full manifestation of the Dhira's qualities in him. His discriminative mind very early determined that God alone is a permanent substance and the world with its pleasures and possessions is impermanent. So he resolved firmly to seek only God and not to rest till he had realized him in full. Sri Ramakrishna had a brilliant intellect, but perceiving at an early age the hollowness of a formal education, he turned away from it. He did not aspire to become a graduate student. He did not aspire to take a doctorate. He was no more interested in all such things. The worldly scheme of education, which only helps in earning of money or honor, Sri Ramakrishna called it a mere bread-winning education. When he was pressed by his elder brother to give his serious attention to his curricular studies, Sri Ramakrishna replied, "I don't want to learn the art of bundling rice and plantain. What do I want to achieve? That which produces right knowledge and enables man to attain the aim of his life. I want that." Though he most probably had not then heard or read about what the Upanishads calls the higher knowledge, which enables one to attain the imperishable, that is Brahman, clearly Sri Ramakrishna's discriminative mind and hankering for liberation were guiding him towards that. Thus, as he entered upon his long series of rigorous spiritual disciplines, Sri Ramakrishna kept unsheathed, as it were, the shining sword of discrimination. He cut off one by one from his mind all attachments to passion, possessions, which he saw were obstacles in the path of his divine realization. He renounced money and the joys of the flesh altogether when he saw that without overcoming the pride of caste and egoism, he could not have the divine vision. He went to the extent of stripping himself of the sacred thread, the emblem of his Brahmanhood, and later he quietly started cleansing the toilet of scavenger's family. He wanted to be well established as a person of ego-less, a person who is totally free from ego. He could, when he sat for meditation, very easily detach his consciousness from sense impressions and other distractions. When he would close his eyes, he could completely concentrate on the divine. And after a long struggle through such disciplines and with consuming yearning for God, which the Vedanta text call mumukshudha, the desire for liberation, he had the first vision of the Divine Mother, the goal of all these spiritual practices, in her impersonal aspect. He perceived and got merged into an all-pervading ocean of light and consciousness. In later days, when disciples gathered around him and sought spiritual guidance, he asked them to cultivate discrimination. He said, "You must practice discrimination. Whatever the mind is seeking, the pleasures and wealth, please note, they are impermanent. God is the only eternal substance. What does a man get with money?" Sri Ramakrishna puts this question and answers himself that question. He tells, food, clothes, and a dwelling place, nothing more. You can't realize God with its help. Therefore, money can never be the goal of life. Consider what is there in money or in a beautiful body. Discriminate, and you will find that even the body of a beautiful person, what does it consist of? It consists of bones, it consists of flesh, it consists of fat, and also it consists of other disagreeable things. Why should a person give up God and direct his attention to such things? Why should a person forget God for their sake? So, Sri Ramakrishna is trying to draw our attention, to sharpen our discriminating faculty. Everyone has got, but because mind is distracted and scattered in different ways. The mind energy is dissipating in so many ways. You feel as if that discriminating faculty is not within you. Well, you have to cleanse the mind. That's very important. Cleansing of mind. The more you cleanse, the more you feel better. And then you will become recipient of peace and joy. You have to develop discriminating faculty. You have to cultivate renunciation. So, be very different about these spiritual ideas. Wherever you are, whatever country you belong to, truth is same. What is needed is to practice. How much you can practice in your life, to that extent you have that experience of peace. I shall continue the same topic next Tuesday. There are women, page 718, who come to the Ganges for their bath, and instead of thinking of God, they gossip about no end of things. What jewels did you offer at the time of your son's marriage? Has so-and-so returned from her father-in-law's house? So-and-so is seriously ill. So-and-so went to see the bride. We hope that they will offer a magnificent dowry and there will be a great feast. Harish always nags at me. He can't stay away from me even an hour. My child, I couldn't come to see you all these days. I was so busy with the betrothal of so-and-so's daughter. You see, they have come to bathe in the holy river and yet they indulge in all sorts of worldly talk. The master began to look intently at the younger Narain and went into samadhi. Did he see God himself in the pure soul's devotee? The devotee silently watched, motionless in samadhi. A few minutes before, there had been so much laughter in the room. Now there was deep silence, as if no one were there. The master sat with folded hands as in his photograph. After a short while, his mind began to come down to the relative plane. He heaved a long sigh and became aware of the outer world. He looked at the devotees and began to talk with them of their spiritual progress. Master said to the younger Narain, I have been eager to see you. You will succeed. You will succeed. Come here once in a while. Well, which do you prefer, jnana or bhakti? The younger Narain said, pure bhakti. Master said, but how can you love someone unless you know him? Pointing to Yam with a smile, how can you love him unless you know him? To Yam, Sri Ramakrishna said, since a pure-souled person has asked for pure bhakti, it must have some meaning. One does not seek bhakti of one's own accord without inborn tendencies. This is the characteristic of prema bhakti. There is another kind of bhakti called jnana bhakti, which is love of God based on reasoning. To the younger Narain, Sri Ramakrishna said, let me look at your body. Take off your shirt. Fairly broad chest. You will succeed. Come here. Now and then. Sri Ramakrishna was still in the ecstatic mood. He spoke tenderly to the other devotees about their future. Master said to Paltu, you will succeed too, but it will take a little time. To Babu Ram, Sri Ramakrishna said, why don't I attract you to me? It is just to avoid trouble. To Mohini Mohan, Sri Ramakrishna said, as for you, you are all right. There is a little yet to be done. When that is achieved, nothing will remain, neither duty, nor work, nor the world itself. Is it good to get rid of everything? As Sri Ramakrishna spoke these words, he looked at Mohini affectionately, as if scanning his inmost feelings. Was Mohini really wondering whether it would be wise to renounce all for God? After a while, Sri Ramakrishna said, God binds the Bhagavat Pandit to the world with one tie. Otherwise, who would remain to explain the sacred book? He keeps the Pandit bound for the good of men. That's why the Divine Mother has kept you in the world. Now Sri Ramakrishna spoke to the young Brahmin. Master said, give up knowledge and reasoning, accept bhakti. Bhakti alone is the essence. Is this the third day of your stay here? Brahmin said with folded hands, "Yes, sir." Sri Ramakrishna said, "Have faith. Depend on God. Then you will not have to do anything yourself. Mother Kali will do everything for you." We shall stop. So, Sri Ramakrishna has given all the faculties. God has given all the faculties. We are not using them. Whose fault is God to be blamed? When He has given everything, if you don't use them, whose fault is that? Anyway, for whatever reasons, we have lost our way in our journey towards our goal, which is realization of God. Probably we have forgotten our goal even, if it comes to that point. So, you have to reset yourself. Resetting. Just yesterday, we concluded our Millennium program in Ganges. Fantastic success. And all the Swamis spoke very well, dealing various aspects of Vedanta. I spoke Vedantic wisdom, way to real happiness. So, the whole thing has been given in software, as it were, and inserted you into your hardware mind. You have to just click. You will get into that. But clicking you have to do. If you don't click, even though the software is there, it is unused. Is it not? So, God is extremely gracious. Extremely gracious. And you will come to know about it when you turn your mind towards Him. So, turning your mind towards God is really the point which I am stressing upon. Why don't we turn? So, be in touch with this spiritual literature. Come in contact with ashram. Be regular and be steady, be firm in your conviction. Practice the principles of Vedanta. That's all what we say. That's all what we say. Then definitely you will progress in your spiritual path, whatever path you have chosen. In order to go to the divine, in order to go to the substratum, that's the way to go to the source. Unless you discriminate, you will not be able to understand what is real. In order to know real, you have to discard the unreal. If you hold on to unreal as real, then how can you ever experience reality at all? If you think your dream state is real, that is everything for you, then how can you ever come into the reality? That's why the Upanishads are pointing out, what is reality? That which is not changing, which is always present, past, present and future. So many creations have come and gone, but Brahman is there through all the creations. Where do the creations go? They go into Him, they come out of Him. So involution and evolution, that's all. They're involved, evolved, getting involved, evolved. So this process goes alternately. Involution, evolution. Please read the chapter. Swami Vivekananda has very nicely dealt on this topic. Involution, evolution in Jnana Yoga. Read that. If you understand, if you read all those things, it will give you an idea, it will give you inspiration. Well, that's true. Why am I suffering? Because my focus is on the unreal things, so I am suffering. If a man is hankering after money, thinking that money will help him, how can be happy in a real sense? Yesterday, I read a very shocking, in a way, news in the internet. Brother and sister giving a delivery, and some process, the modern science has found out some method by which the fertility can be done, all those things. And she had no issues, but because of the doctor's help, she got it. And the process is very well written there, how nicely it is. And they have to pay about $2,000 for that, whatever it is. Why they are doing that? In order to inherit the mother's property. Just for the sake of property, they are doing all sorts of things. For the sake of money, they kill. They do anything. And what do they do by that money? That's the terrible aspect. So we commit crimes, and afterwards we think, why God is very cruel to me. All are happy, I am unhappy. Like that fellow thinks. Happiness and unhappiness are brought by him only because of his actions, good and bad. As you think, so you become. So if you think good, you will be good. If you think bad, you are bad. So What Vedanta says is, develop your character, purify yourself, cleanse yourself. Purification. That is to be done. Maya is also Brahman. Maya is the power of Brahman. You see, from that concept, there is nothing else but Brahman. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. The whole thing is nothing but Brahman. That is true, but it is the theoretical knowledge, how to realize it. It is on the paper, but how to experience myself. When you experience it yourself, then you will be always cheerful and happy. There is no trace of suffering in your face. No trace. Simply be beaming with joy. Beaming. So the truth is that, first of all, you must have firm conviction. And you must sharpen your intellect. And thirdly, turn your mind towards God. That is renunciation. Satisfied forever. That's the beauty of spiritual life. I gave the definition of renunciation. The definition of renunciation is that turn your mind from outside involvement towards involving yourself in God. How can you focus if the mind is running towards other things? I want to go and have a coffee, I want to go and have a bar, I want to go and have a drink, I want to go to the club. The mind, you are simply pushed to those things and you are not able to come to God at all. And so many people say, after retirement I will do this spiritual practice. I have seen many retired people, how they spend the time by playing cards. They can't read, they feel tension, they keep playing cards. So, mind deceives. Mind deceives. It is deceiving because you have allowed the mind to go in a particular fashion. So it is, a time has come, you have no control over it. It has taken control over you. So you are simply master for the namesake. And the real master is your mind. You behave according to what your mind wants you to do. You have become the slave of the mind. And mind is asserting its mastership over you. You have surrendered your mastership to the mind. So you are suffering. As long as you are allowing the mind to go in its own way, there is no way of getting out of suffering. We shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bought for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous reign tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.